The UConn Huskies are a team on fire. After coming into the NCAA tournament with a 25-8 record and as a 4 seed, they have gone completely nuclear to look like by far the best team in this entire tournament. They've won all 4 games, of course, and they've ran over their opponents in each one of them. In their Elite 8 matchup, they took on a solid Gonzaga team, a 3 seed, a team that was expected to compete with them, maybe beat them. Oh yeah, they beat them by nearly 30 and dominated them for almost the entire 40 minutes. The question going into this NCAA tournament for the UConn Huskies was consistency. They'd been inconsistent at times this year. They've found it now. They now find themselves in the Final Four this coming weekend. And now I have the confidence to say the UConn Huskies are going to win the national championship. And I am here to tell you why. Now, the first reason that the Huskies are going to cut down the nets here in a little less than a week is they've found their consistency. After being inconsistent and up and down throughout the year, again, this team looked like the best team in the nation at times during the regular season, but at other times they looked like they could struggle and lose to mid-tier teams on any given night. Well, that's all gone now. After winning and dominating 4 games in a row, this team is back in their groove and they look like the most dangerous team in all of college basketball. Now, the biggest part of this is UConn is defending without fouling. They struggle with this big time in the regular season. In their 8 losses, they averaged over 22 fouls per game as a team. They put their opponents on the free throw stripes constantly, and that's why they lost games, because they gave up a ton of free throws, and that's the easiest way to score points in the game. So if you lose the free throw battle, it's usually not great, but they have flipped that around entirely here in the tournament. They're just averaging 17 fouls per game. Now, don't get me wrong, this is an aggressive defensive philosophy that the Huskies have, and so there are going to be fouls that come along with that. However, averaging over 22 fouls per game in their losses, it makes sense why they lost those games. They've turned that around and they're looking much better in that area. Also, in terms of consistency, the offense has really just come together in its entirety. Now that they're getting stops without fouling on the defensive end, they can get out and run in transition, which they've done a good job of doing in the tournament, more so than they did in the regular season. Also, they are just a 3-level scoring team now. They can dominate in the paint, and they can also score on the perimeter with their shooters getting hot, especially Jordan Hawkins in the tournament, who's had a terrific past couple of games. Also, another staple of consistency that is carried over for UConn is the offensive glass. The Huskies are dominant on the offensive boards, second in the entire nation in offensive rebounding percentage, headlined by their star big man, Sunogo. Speaking of Sunogo, he is reason number 2 that this UConn Huskies squad is going to cut down the nets and be the national champion. The 6'9 junior has been incredible for the Huskies, especially during this tournament run. In these 4 games, he's averaged 20 points per game, along with nearly 10 rebounds per game as well, and he has just been a physical force against every single opponent that he's faced. He's tremendous on the defensive end as a paint defender, one of the best in the nation in that regard. His supposedly biggest matchup of the tournament came in the Elite 8 against Gonzaga and Drew Timme, one of the best and most respected big men in all of college basketball, and Sunogo dominated him. Timme only had 12 points during the game, and he really had to work for those 12. He took 14 shots. Inefficient day for Drew Timme, one of the worst games that I've seen him have in the past couple of years. He also got him in foul trouble early. Sunogo's physicality is a problem in the paint. Offensively, he's also a versatile weapon as well. He's a great roll man in the pick and roll. He can finish in a number of different ways. He can also score on straight-up post-ups, mainly because of his size, but he also has really good footwork down low. Sunogo, incredibly versatile on the offensive end. Heck, Even when he's open, he could step outside and knock down an open three as well. This kid really can do it all for UConn. No one in this Final Four could match up with him, and that's why I think he is going to steamroll through these next two games and lead UConn to a championship. Now, reason number 3 that UConn is going to cut down the nets and be the champions here on Monday night is they have a complete offense. I mean, this offense is like it was built in a college basketball lab. I mean, it is perfect. When all of the cylinders are going, there is no stopping this team because of how versatile they are. Now, to make my argument, I'm going to pick out 3 impact players on this UConn squad. Don't get me wrong, there are more contributors, so don't hate me down in the comment section for saying I just mentioned these 3 guys. There are plenty of other contributors, but these are the main 3 that make this offense go. First of all, we already mentioned him. Sunogo. He is the biggest proponent of this offense. He's averaging nearly 18 points per game on the season, and as I mentioned, over 20 points per game in the tournament. He's an absolute paint beast. He can score down low, get to the free throw line seemingly whenever he wants. He's also a big-time threat in the pick and roll game, and is also just a great screen setter in his own right, which opens up the guards and wings on this team for other shots as well. The second player is Jordan Hawkins. The sophomore guard has come onto the scene big time over the past month or so. He has the ability to get absolutely nuclear from 3 and has done so in the NCAA tournament. He may have actually played himself into a first-round draft pick in the NBA because he's shown his ability to score, especially from the perimeter. NBA guys love lengthy scorers who can really shoot the basketball. That's what Jordan Hawkins is. He is that microwave guy who can get this team going primarily with jump shots, but the kid can also get to the rim as well. Now, thirdly, and the guy I probably love most, is Andre Jackson Jr., the junior guard for this Huskies squad. Even though he's 6'6", he mainly plays the role of point guard, essentially, for this team the majority of the time. He is the primary facilitator on this squad. I love the way he's been playing in the NCAA tournament. He's averaging nearly 8 assists per game for this team. Now, he barely scores 6 or 7 points per game, and that has followed suit here in the tournament. However, he does not look to score the basketball. He looks to set up his teammates. I love that in this kid, and I love that in a college basketball team. Every really good team needs that veteran ball handler who can facilitate and is a pass-first kind of guy. That's exactly what Andre Jackson Jr. does. He makes the engine go for this UConn squad. He helps them get out in transition when they decide to run. By the way, they're very good when they do decide to run. I love Andre Jackson Jr., and he is the third player that makes this terrific offense go and that will lead them to the national championship. Now, no team has found their groove more than the UConn Huskies this NCAA tournament. They've won all 4 games in their march to the Final Four by at least 15 points. This team has dominated the competition so far. They have answered the questions of consistency here in the tournament, and at this point, I have seen enough. The UConn Huskies are going to cut down the nets next Monday and win the national championship. It doesn't matter the matchup. It does not matter who they play. Give them whoever in that championship game. The Huskies are going to win their 5th national championship in school history come next week. Now, if you made it this far, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing down below. It really helps out the channel. Now, if you're a huge college basketball fan and you are sad the season is about to come to an end, we've got you covered. We will have off-season content all throughout the spring and summer going into the fall of next year, starting out with transfer portal news coming out in the next month. So subscribe down below if you don't want to miss out on anything college basketball.